Week 3, Kansas State, good football team. Very physical. Like when any time you play the Wildcats, you got to go beat them. So they've had 2 big wins the last 2 weekends. So you got to get ready to play. Got them here at home, and so we have to keep getting better every week. We got to be better than we were last week. Still defensively, too many big plays, and offensively, just in the red zone, we got to have touchdowns, not field goals. But we're glad we kicked the 4 that we did. So.
Coach, can you give us some assessment of how your offensive line improved from week 1 to week 2 after looking at it on film?
We were more physical in the run game. We still have a ways to go pass-wise. Max is still taking too many hits.
Gary, when you go back and look at your first 2 games on film, I know you talked about limiting big plays. What do you see that you need to do or improve on that will eliminate those?
Well, for me, I've got to do a better job in the box. Really, the run plays I got to give them more help as far as leverages, and so hopefully we'll do a better job of that this week, fixing some of those things, to give them more help as far as amount of people there and also the leverages. So, but as far as just the run game is concerned, because that's really where we've been hurt the most, which is like cardinal sin. So it's I just have to do a better job. For us, we've got to handle the crack better. We haven't been handling the crack very well, so we got to do that. And again, that comes back to us. We just got to do a better job of preparing these guys.
Gary, is there anything after 2 weeks that you've seen in terms of the on-the-field product that you would say is a direct correlation to not having any spring ball or regular fall practice sessions?
I don't think so. I think we would have known more about guys, but just them learning, I think you got more out of this. We practiced a long time to get ready at this point. Just the key is at some point in time you just have to play somebody else. So there's pros and cons to getting those practices early in the spring, less in the fall. I still go back to the pre-practices. I think are going to be big. I think that's one of the reasons we haven't had as many injuries, soft tissue injuries, because we had more of the lifting and running with the strength coach doing exercises. They do it on the field with their walkthrough. So I think there's pluses and minuses to both.
Coach, you mentioned the defense giving up big plays, but against Texas, you cut their point total in half. They were averaging 60 points coming into that game. So is there a silver lining to the defense right now that you're seeing? Anything positive?
They had, 380 yards, 220, some of them came on 5 plays. So basically the other 67 plays, they averaged basically 2 yards a play. So for us, we have to do a better job. And it's coming late. We get tired. We just got to do a better job of shoring up, helping each other out and get ready to go. And to be honest with you, it comes with the guy calling it, so I got to do a better job of calling it, to be honest with you. Kids play hard.
You had Coleman start at defensive end against Texas. How did you feel he played in his first college game?
Like a freshman. Made a couple really good plays, and then like a freshman. Like the first time he'd ever started in college. So, but I mean, it's still weird. There are some positives to all of it. So it's, the key is, to get better. There's only one way you can start, and that's keep going. We need to do a better job of rotating up front with our guys when you play afternoon ball games and all of it because of the heat and everything else. We'll help them there. We have to have more production as far as pressure and all the above. So people have been doing a good job of getting the ball out of their hands and doing the things they need to do when it comes to that.
Hey, Gary, we had JD Spiegelman with us earlier. Can you shed some light on what that recruitment process was like to land a guy who was a well thought of player from a Power 5 program like Nebraska?
Oh, yeah, he's not the first one that we've had like that, but, I think he's been just a pleasure. It's as far as everything goes with it, it's one of those things where we were looking for somebody, he reached out and for us to get a chance, we've had a relationship with his dad that's, manager of the Minnesota Vikings, known him for years. And so he's known a lot about our program, how we operate, how we do things. And JD's been a pleasure. I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about his music skills, but a couple of his songs we play on our playlist for practice. So he's multi-talented.
Gary, I want to ask one more thing. I think you said this yesterday in the Big 12 conference call, which is changing the perception of this league when Oklahoma and Texas are not necessarily at the very top. And I know you went through that pretty hard in 2014, and here we are in 2020 still kind of talking about that. So what do you think has to happen in order for outsiders to look at the Big 12 and see somebody not named Texas or Oklahoma and say, that's a good league?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I think it starts with the media. The SEC has only one team, and they have some guys down. We had a couple years ago where they had, the couple top guys, and then lost in bowls and did things even in the SEC, but nobody really talked about it. I think you got to give credit which credit's due. There was no bad ill will towards Texas or Oklahoma. They're both fine institutions. So, and they both have good football programs, and they both have good coaches and great fan bases. So, it had nothing to do with that. I just think you have some coaches in the league that have done a really good job. Baylor's had its years. Go through Iowa State, the way they're doing Oklahoma State. If you look at the years people are having, over the last, really since we came in the league since 2012, there's been down years like every other league has, but there seems to be a little bit of a feeling that, that we don't do some things. And for me, it's just whether it's perception or reality. I just think that there's a lot of good teams that have really good players in this league that play really good football. So outside of that, it wasn't anything more than that. But I don't think it's a feeling inside of our teams that we feel that's the way. I think that comes from the outside, not from the inside.
Gary, Chris Kleiman's come into Kansas State. I mean, obviously he'd had a lot of success where he was previously. Just talk about what you know of Chris and what you've seen of how he's kind of put his mark on Kansas State.
Well, obviously he knew how to win before he got there. They're very detailed how they play both sides of the ball. They play hard on special teams, which was at Kansas State. You kind of just carried that over, and so I think also one of the things they've done. I think they're doing a better job recruiting at least down here in Texas. So it's I think all the above. I think he's done what they asked him to do, is step in and try to elevate the team, and I think he's working towards that.
Sort of like if somebody came to TCU after you, they're going to have to be in your shadow. He was in Bill Snyder's shadow. How do you think, how difficult do you think that is for somebody?
Well, it was hard. I think one of the things he had, Sean Snyder was on his staff until this year. He's at USC now, but, you kind of had a little carryover of understanding how things, how it all worked and inside of Kansas State. And, it's I haven't been there. I don't know really that much about them. Just playing them, I think they're very to the point of how they play. I think that's I always respect teams that are like that they come right at you. And Kansas State's still one of those teams that does that. They always have been, and they still are. So.
And I apologize if you addressed this before I got on, but Scott Thompson, what have you seen in his development? And now he seems to have progressed, and now he's in that role where he knows he's a guy.
Well, he was that all the way. He was all that last year. So his role really hasn't changed. He beat Oklahoma a year ago. He beat Oklahoma this year. So it's the key for him is just to keep going. I'm sure he was excited to come back, elevate, and try to do better than what they did last year. And but he's a good player. You can tell he's a good leader, and he fights through things, which you like in your quarterback.
we got to see a taste of Zach Evans on Saturday. Will we see more of him going forward?
All of them. It's everybody as they keep having a role. I mean, it's for me, it's playing the guys that practice the best in practice and what they're good at. Everybody has their own role and their own plays of what they run until they get older and they can do more. And so all those younger guys have their own plays, have their own role. Some are better at pass protection, some aren't. And so, you can't have them in certain situations. But I'm sure, I haven't talked to the offense. It's just, we're going into Tuesday here. But I'm sure that he will have some plays. He'll get a couple carries for sure.
We saw Brooks limp off too. Any update on him?
I would probably say that he's probably questionable for this week. So.
Hey, Gary, you beat Texas again. Do you think your fans are numb to the success that you guys have had against that program in the last, 7, 8 years, whatever it is?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to win enough ball games to keep my job. That's, to try to win this group of championships. So, I mean, it's every game in this league, most leagues don't play a round robin. When you play everybody, it's hard every year to win a ball game because after about 3 or 4 years, you've run out of just certain ideas. So how do you come up with a better idea